Wow. You alright? You look hot.
It's actually cooling down now.
And
Rick Ellis, let's hear it one more time. Assets. This is not a liability. This is not debt, this is an asset. This is silver. And at one point in our nation's history, we had honest money. We had honest money that was not under the control of a private banking system. And we need to get back there. The other thing I want to mention, folks, and that is so critically important as we head into this election season, is that we need to let people understand how important it is that we not continue the slide that we are on with having elected representatives who have absolutely no idea what is going on in Washington. Does everybody know how many people read the Patriot Act before it was passed in 2001? No one! No one! It was released on the House intranet, a new version that nobody had ever seen, 15 minutes before leadership called for a vote. Yes, our elected representatives voted for it. Should we have our representatives read the bills? And when you look at the way Washington treats legislation these days, ladies and gentlemen, is it right that Congress treats legislation like a freight train, and that as soon as a bill is going to pass, as soon as you see something that is going to leave the station, what do? You start throwing cars on it, right? And all of a sudden we've got a housing relief bill that deep within it, buried within it, has a new requirement that PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, all these folks have to start reporting their transaction data to the IRS. Is that a good idea? No! So there's more to talk about, a lot more struggle to come, but now without further ado, Rocky Lynn!
Well, hello everybody, how are you? I just want to ask you, does anybody here tonight believe that
the Constitution, the voters have never had an alternative in this race. And people are so hungry for change, they're so tired of politics as usual, they're so tired of the empty rhetoric, that to say that, hey, you know what, we need a government that follows the rules for a change, it's actually been a message. I wouldn't want to run against the Constitution this year. I would run against a message of change.
Are you going to go to both conventions or just this one?
Well, I'm just here for a couple of days participating in this because I'm really working the grassroots. I'm campaigning in North Carolina.
So you're running as a Republican?
That's correct.
And you're not going to go to the Republican convention?
Nope, I got a campaign to run. But I ran in the Republican primary. I actually had a primary and won against the party's establishment opponent. I got 71% of the vote.
Really? Congratulations.
So there was a bit of an upset there. A lot of folks were surprised about, again, how tough it is to run against the Constitution.
And I know you're running for office, so I don't expect you to curse, but do say whatever you want and tell us how you feel about the Federal Reserve.
Well, I think the Federal Reserve is part of one of the systems that's gradually bankrupting our country. And we're getting to the point where people are beginning to realize that when a tick gets to the point that it starts to kill the dog, both the tick and the dog have problems.
Oh, that's so good. You're running in the South.
We've got to figure out, yeah, it works. We got to figure out a better way to do things. It doesn't systematically. We've got institutions out there in our government today. All they're doing is institutionalizing poverty. They're institutionalizing oppression and incarceration. We've got to do better than that.
Why didn't Ron Paul do better?
Well, I look at his message.
It's incredible.
It is incredible, and I think what's happening is we're also seeing a gradual democratization of access to information. Because you cannot run a national campaign without the mainstream media fawning all over you. You're self-accepted. You're talking to me, which is good, right?
Well, I didn't know when I walked up. You're wearing a suit. You look for real.
You know. So we try, but I think the important thing is that when you get down to the district level, when you get down to the grassroots level, there's so much discontent out there with the American people that people really are looking for sensible alternatives. And it came as a complete surprise to me to realize, for example, that the U.S. taxpayers fund the Democratic and Republican national conventions.
I didn't know that. Is that true?
That is true.
They pay for that?
They pay for
well, that's insane. That's just a big corporate party.
Indeed.
That really is crazy.
And even in my state, in North Carolina, when you fill out your income tax every year in the state of North Carolina, there's $3 in checkoff funds that goes to support the Republican and Democratic parties in North Carolina.
Can you not check them? Or?
You can, but
no one remembers.
But typically people say, sure, I'll check it off. And in fact, without those checkoff funds, which is basically taxpayers allocating the state's money to support the existing two-party system, all you're doing is, supporting political parties over roads and schools and kids and things that the state.
Who's paying for this one?
This is all privately funded.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, better food.
Oh, fantastic. And this is where the energy is. And I've been working with folks in the North Carolina delegation who are here, who are Liberty supporters, who are talking with other delegates at the RNC. And if you want to be where the action is, if you want to be where the enthusiasm is,
that's where I want to be.
This is where people are enthusiastic.
Really? What's going to happen, you think? What's going to be the most exciting part?
Well, I think today is just the beginning. What we're doing is we're working with
I'm not coming back tomorrow.
No. I mean, what's going to be exciting isn't what happens today. It's what happens when these thousands of people go back into their community.
I'm not going to follow the story that far. I'm just here for the day.
You're just here for the day.
Yeah.
But it's all
exciting. Really cool meeting you. Thanks for the race.
Thanks so much. So here's the propaganda.
Yeah, please.
10,000 copies of these went out in our primary. Won to 71% of the vote. It's great. Yeah. You're in a minority. So and we're giving out tens of more thousands in the general election. So
this is not cheap for you.
Well, we buy in bulk. So well, it's worth the investment.
I think you've got a shot.
You know, and that envelope, you can fill that out with, FEC contributions and so forth.
Are you getting a lot of money here?
We're getting money here. About half of our contributions are outside the district.
Because these people are loaded with Ron Paul people.
A lot of them are really, it's not a matter of being loaded, it's a matter of being willing to sacrifice for the future of our country. I think that's what you see. So people give generously because we know what's safe. When you have a government that no longer represents the people, that serves corporate special interests, it's time to take care of that.
We should go over there. We should go to St. Paul and cause some trouble. You know, a lot of people in here.
This is a lot more fun than rubber bullets and tear gas.
That's the thing. These people are smarter than me. I'm like, well, this is causing trouble. No, you're right.
Because this is positive change.
Yeah.
This isn't break stuff up. This is build stuff